Are you generating enough real estate buyer leads and enough real estate seller leads to support your real estate business? And do you have a good balance, a good ratio between those two different characteristics of leads? Hi guys, I'm Stu Hill from CHEM.digital. This week I'm going to be talking a lot about lead generation, and this comes on the heels of NAR's, well, an extension of NAR's clear cooperation policy. This has now trickled down to the MLS level with listing attribution or listing broker credits, listing broker attribution, whatever you want to call it. There's a few different names depending on what market you're in. One of the things that always gets me about real estate is that everybody's so far behind the curve when it comes to seeing market conditions outside of sort of 3 months ahead. Now, we all know that when you do comps, you're looking, what sold in a quarter mile in the last 3 months. And that's pretty much, that trickles down to marketing as well. So a lot of times you'll see, for example, with the short sales that happened in 2006, it wasn't until 2007, until a lot of, or even 2008, till a lot of brokers even figured out how to do a short sale. There was trickle down training. Those that have been through it before, they got in ahead of time. They closed a lot of short sales in a short amount of time because the banks were willing to negotiate. Then obviously when the flood of things came in, all of the agents were a little late to the game. Likewise with the REOs, those that have been through a cycle before or a couple of cycles before, that seem to come around every 10 years historically. They saw ahead of the curve. They knew to go after asset managers, to go create those kind of wholesale accounts, and that got them a strong foothold in the REO industry. And then everybody else was chasing to catch up. And then there's the whole myth of shadow inventory. And then we head back into a regular, into a buyer's market because there's tons of inventory on the market. And today we are in an incredible seller's market. I mean, we are home prices, highest point ever. And more importantly, I think the appreciation of property in such a short period of time, month over month, we're seeing the biggest capital gains. And it's not just in certain areas, it's nationwide. The average home price in the US now is $400,000. Which is incredible. They were saying back in 2003 that, $300,000 in California was unrealistic and, priced first-time home buyers completely out of the market. This number of 380 to 400,000 is a nationwide average, which is crazy, really. Anyway, my point on this clear cooperation policy and listing broker attribution, and Reology just jumped in on this as well. So the MLSs now are, let's take CRMLS. Not every MLS is requiring this, but it's coming. CRMLS requires that the listing broker's name and brokerage is on and visible in the first half of the page. So in the visible area here, they're requiring that the listing broker's information is shown there. Reology just jumped in last week and proposed that not only should the name of the listing broker be on there, but in addition to that, their contact information should be on there. So you should see on any website through IDX, right? IDX is the agreement that allows you to show any broker within your MLS's listings on your website, and vice versa. You agree to share for any broker to display your listings on their website. Now, this enables them to capture leads, bring the buyer. It enables you to capture leads, take a buyer to another listing, to a listing agent's property. Now, Reology is requesting that on the page. So up here, you would have the listing broker's information, and then right below in this area, you're going to have, the selling broker's information. And right below in this area, you're going to have the listing broker's information as well. As far as what that's going to do for lead capture, it'll be interesting to see the balance of where consumers, do they stop using buyer's brokers? Now, Reology's push on this is because they say that it takes a lot of time and effort and money to get a listing, i.e., it's a lot more difficult to get a listing because you've got to go to an interview, perhaps, because you've got to compete directly against other agents, than it is to pick up a buyer to purchase a property. Now, I would slightly disagree with this. I think that when a lot of clients are savvy. Some of them, but not many of them are loyal. So, although it takes work to get a listing, it also takes work and a bit of luck to find a ready, willing, and able buyer that's going to be loyal to you, not just have you drive around, see a bunch of houses, or use you for information and then end up going directly to the listing agent anyway. So I'm sort of 50-50 on it. The idea that the clear cooperation, consumers knowing who's listing the house and who's selling it, I think we're probably going to see a bit more in the way of a push for buyer brokering and the benefits of using a buyer broker and why you need somebody representing your interests, not the seller's interests, and all of these sort of bullet points that are going to go into that. That being said, this clear cooperation policy, the idea that consumers are aware how things work up front rather than sort of figuring it out down the road, and then the trickle down of that to the listing broker credit, listing attribution aspect of this that we're going to see. With what I just said about there being I think there will be an increase in the number of the amount of content that's pushed around buyer brokering. Likewise, I think listings are now more than ever king. So I think generating seller leads, through home valuations, and this is kind of what I'm going to go into this week, are lead generation for buyer leads. So using Google pay-per-click, a combination of Google pay-per-click, SEO, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads, Instagram ads, for buyer leads, and a specific program that I've got that works very well on the social channels to get you to amass a lot of buyer leads, and then obviously put them into some sort of follow-up system. Likewise, on the seller side of things, we use home valuation, and we're going to get into some of that. I'm going to show you. I'll give you a demonstration actually. We've got these new seller lead landing pages coming out. This let's get into my screen here. So this here is our original home valuation tool. It's integrated with every single one of our websites. It's also a standalone product that you can buy for $250. There's no monthly fee associated with it. It is simply it is a tool. We can change the picture. We can create multiple different versions of it. We can change the messaging. Whatever you like. You put the address in here. It'll start to bring up a list of addresses to make it nice and easy for your consumer to pick from. And they select their address, click submit. It'll show them a street view of their house. Ask them for their information. When they submit that, it will then show them the value of the property. You can tweak the value up and down by a percentage if you like, and we can customize all the messaging and so forth. Now, we've got a bit of an add-on. I'm going to show you this in home valuation here. So if I pull up these Google search results, HomeLight is one of the examples that I'm using right here. And this is an example ad. HomeLight, request your estimate today, valuation in less than 2 minutes. I'd probably opt to say, in less than 20 seconds or something like that. We've got a bunch of ad copy that you can use. But essentially, you link this ad copy to the home valuation pages. Now, we have actually taken the inspiration from Homelight, Realtor.com, Remax, and Redfin. And we've built a series more pages so that you've got some options to try. They're a little bit more detailed than our standard valuation. We're selling the additional templates as a package of 5 for $500, which includes all the setup and customization and what have you. It doesn't cost you anything on a monthly basis. You can drive leads to these landing pages from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, your email, Twitter, anywhere you want, and we've got a series of ads and whatnot that you can use, or we're happy to manage your campaign for you. Very similar to our other page here. You enter your address, and this one doesn't automatically pull up your address. One thing that we have added to the other pages is how we do the valuation. So a little bit of transparency and the kind of what you can expect when you fill this out. And we think that is helping to increase some leads. One thing that we're going to do is one thing that we have done is sort of remove these links. It's not great to have links on a landing page to somewhere else. So there should be one singular focus, which is home valuation tool. We've got all the keywords that you can use as well. We'll give those to you. But somebody types that in, you get them to the home valuation, they put their address in, we explain how we're going to come up with that valuation, and then off to the races. So that's Homelight. This is this one. I like the simplicity of this, but I like the simple answers to the questions here. If we take a look at Realtor.com, so Realtor.com, Homelight do sponsored ads. Realtor.com, Remax and Redfin, they've actually done really well at getting they've done well with SEO and they rank for home valuation nationwide. So again, Realtor.com recently, they were credited credited as saying that they've tried to modernize. And I think it shows. So they're competing with Redfin for the first time ever. They've just won some market share against Zillow, which is a huge win for them. And I think it shows in their appearance here. They've gone a bit more techie than what they were. I don't think this is the simplest to read, but again, these guys have spent hundreds of millions of dollars figuring out how a real estate website needs to look and function. They've got lots of people doing, tons of different testing and analytics and whatnot behind it. So our theory here is we're going to use these guys as a benchmark, create pages which are similar to the modern look and different market to market. I think it's going to be different. If it's maybe in Middle America they're more traditional, and in maybe in Silicon Valley we're looking at something more modern, this flat design look as it's called. With illustration. I like the use of this owner's dashboard. This is kind of a Zillow I like the Zillow claim your home. They have that here as well. I think that's quite interesting. It's not actually going to give them any access to anything other than they're going to claim their home on your website. You could set them up then with a market report through email, and we've got some options for that as well. So there's ways to nurture these leads after the fact. If we take a look at Remax's home valuation page, again, they're using up here in the slug, they're using home value estimates. What's my home worth? What is an AVM? How accurate is it? So we're taking a combination of this, how is it done, and the layout. This is a Redfin sort of layout. If you look at any of the big guys, you'll see big picture in the back, search box in the middle, buy, sell, This, I think, is a little better for lead capture. It's a simpler page, and again, we're creating versions of all of these so we can test further against them, or you can run in your market and run ads for each one of them, see which one works best for you. It's an extra $250 on top of the standard platform. However, the savings could be 10x that if you find that one of the pages is working significantly better in your market than others. And finally, we will take a look at Redfin. So again, they've got the slug, what is my home worth? The slug generally will identify what the primary keyword is they're going for. I'm not the biggest fan of the Redfin page. It's very white. They don't have the picture in the background like they do on the home page. Professional estimate, that'll send it off. I mean, that's an interesting feature to put on there as well. That'll send it off for a CMA. But then again, you're going to get the lead and you're going to call them, tell them that you want to do a proper estimate. Anyway, I've got some scripts that you can use. I will add those or just request a consultation or submit a contact form and ask me for scripts or whatever else you need. To help with this, I can coach you through some of the sales calls and what you need to say. If you're going to want a CRM to follow up on all the leads, I mean, if you spend $20 a day, you could be, expecting somewhere in the region of 20 to 60 leads from Facebook alone, which is mega. So you need some way to follow up with those. Calling isn't necessarily the right thing to do. We want to warm them up and call the warm ones rather than calling the cold leads. Get them into a nurture program that warms them up over time. When they've submitted an address, let's get them into a market report for the zip code. That's a nice, easy way to do it. Again, how we calculate the estimate. This is a popular thing that I think people are interested to know. It sort of validates how the automated valuation works. And again, our valuation works nationwide. So if you get something out of area, no harm in referring that out. If you have any questions about this program or any of the policies from NAR or the state level, feel free to submit a free consultation form right below me if you're on our website. If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for reminders. You'll get notified when I post more videos throughout this week. And for the rest of this month, we are focusing 100% on lead generation, stocking that pipeline. And we've got many ways to help you do that. So again, Stu Hill here from CHEM.digital. See you soon.